Rob, no Steve, no Kazuya. Everything is perfect. Anyway,
Yes.
here's an ICeless player.
Right. Yeah, we left all of the toxicity and the messiness away. So now we've got on the other side Incineroar. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The picture perfect character for traditional Fundies gameplay.
Yeah,
You
no,
know, no nonsense.
As a third strike Hugo, I fully approve of Vidrocker.
Yeah.
I will try not to show my
Oh
bias,
my God.
however, I will fail. So,
Yeah.
a little bit of fire and ice here, and to qualify for winners semifinals. And ICeless showed just how potent this character could be earlier on in this bracket. A rather dominant showing from this individual. And makes you wonder.
That is the nastiest setup.
No.
You're sitting there blocking the forward smash while you get grabbed.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do? You get hit or you get hit. It's still the same confirmed forward smash.
Exactly.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Oh, we got the Incineroar in a handicap match. This ain't fair, bro. And now at 11%, Vidrocker is 2 stocks down. Traveled all the way from Chicago for this.
This move is not even real in the matchup. You get a low and whip and you get smashed out of it.
Yep.
That is so sad. He's going to lose this. Oh my God.
Oh, welcome to the compilation. ICeless, dear Lord in heaven.
So, this is the Ice Climbers. One thing goes wrong and everything goes wrong. It's like a trail of dominoes. You
Yeah, a little bit,
get
right?
knocked down pretty fast. It is difficult to recover.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You got to pick them all up, and you got to set it all up again. ICeless, though, doing incredibly well in that game number 1, suffering a total of 11.8 percentage points worth of damage. What is there for Vidrocker to do? You're a fire type, and you can't melt ice.
Yeah, I think I like the idea of sitting back, get that revenge, and be very careful about your approach, because jumping in against Ice Climbers, forward throw, beautiful. That's exactly what you want. Maybe we kill a Nana here?
Oh.
Forward smash just missed the mark, and I don't blame him for going that way, but it's really difficult to catch the drift of Ices after they go for that side B.
Utilizing that Darkest Lariat as a mix-up. Green Cyclone, and all of a sudden the Icy's caught in Tornado Alley here in Dallas.
Honestly, I feel like I would give up the ledge trap there just to get rid of Nana.
Okay. Has a little bit of revenge, but again, you cannot rely on the Alolan Whip, so you got to go for some sort of straight hit, even if it's just a damage option like that Darkest Lariat. You're not getting that kill until maybe a little bit later, or maybe this percentage at ledge if you're cute with your
Wake up spot dodge.
there you go.
I feel like you had good time to react to that, because the dash grab, you have to dash in such a way that you're able to get that cheer cancel and kind of matter.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the timing was mixed up just a little bit. I think that would have been perfect if it were just a solo character, but with that little bit of a delay, it becomes a backdrop. But still good enough to get the kill.
Yeah,
And piling
because-
on more damage. Vidrocker has adjusted, but oh, that's no.
Yeah, you
okay.
make it back, but at the expense of Nana, you're really far off. And there's no making this one back. Back air comes through. This is rinse and repeat at best. ICeless. Now a little bit of taste of
That's a
their own
0 to
medicine.
death.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Vidrocker all of a sudden on the comeback trail in this set, as decisive as that game number 1 was.
Man, both of these characters looking very feast or famine. Right now, Vidrocker's feasting, but it's time for ICeless to get a little bit in here. Up tilt, no big follow-up. We finally have a good ledge trap set up. Yeah, that's it. You set up the move that makes you want to get up attack, right? Constant pressure, and then you're just sitting there blocking with main climbing.
There you go, Vidrocker.
I actually love using the belay right there to pull Nana off stage. Make it safe. No cheer. Oh,
It is cute.
that
I
is
mean,
so
oh, no.
nasty. A little bit more damage, and we might not have been able to recover from there, but this seems difficult.
It's so fascinating, the history of Ice Climbers in this game in particular, but it's just been, people have been so back and forth about this thing, but Vidrocker is showing just how you counterplay this with a primarily grappling character.
Yeah.
And you do have to do maybe a little bit more jumping than perhaps you're used to, but that little knife edge chop is going to do it right to the gut. And the Second City Slugger, Vidrocker, is on the board.
Doing a great job of sitting back and kind of forcing ICeless to come to them. Jumping in on Ice Climbers is the easiest way to get 1 billion damage. But sitting back and forcing them to approach, they really don't have a lot going for them. They do have pretty safe aerials because you go one climber into the other. But if you are privy to that, you can start setting up parries or just with punishing completely, and that's what we saw.
I am kind of curious about your take on Ice Climbers, because we have had people wanting to experiment with this character all the way back since the beginning of the game. Really, the first memory that I have of seeing anyone try to use this in any sort of competitive environment was Wishes using it at the crew battle at the first Let's Make Big Moves.
Yeah.
And I really don't have a whole lot of experience outside of that, but Big D has sort of unlocked Pandora's box.
Right.
And now all of a sudden we're getting all sorts of developments in competitive play with Ice Climbers. Of course, there have been people like Ukami on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
But, I mean, is this the start of a renaissance with the Ice Climbers in the meta? Because it feels like if there's any room for this game to grow, it's through these two little guys.
I feel like Big D's definitely been there since day one, just without the eyes on him. So a lot of the big moves that are being made are by a lot of very strong character loyalists, showing off some of the strengths of this character. And sometimes people don't know what's going on. Sometimes people do know what's going on. Either way, this character is very difficult to prepare for, and you play against them differently than a lot of other characters, so it can be difficult. But they're very strong. I think this character is actually insane.
And that's the thing. You watch someone like Big D, and you realize that this is not the sort of character that gets to this point without years and years of development. The overnight successes take years to make. And that's the thing about people like Big D that maybe people forget. Is like, no, this guy didn't just appear out of nowhere. He's been there. But I also feel like it hasn't exactly blown the world up to the extent that he has now, and something has changed. ICeless could potentially be one of those people, but first, you gotta be able to deal with those problematic matchups. You gotta be able to deal with someone who can just dish out 45% at the press of a button. And that is what Incineroar is. ICeless has not adapted quite as well as perhaps we thought, but the Sopo is going to do work there and take the first stock off of Vidrocker at long last.
Once again, falling straight in the forward tilt.
Cost?
Right in the forward tilt. It really is a lot of, hey, I'm right here, don't you want to come at me? And then dashing back for the forward tilt. A little of that bait and punish. And here again, that whiff punish game, staying just outside of the range, waiting for ICeless to whiff one of those side Bs before coming in with his own.
I love that. I mean, Vidrocker, the intelligence to know that you don't necessarily need to go for that Enziguri F smash. That little knife edge, which is usually just like a little spacing individual hit move, and that back air, which is always a kill at ledge. Vidrocker needed to make adjustments, and he did. And all of a sudden, Second City represent.
After getting demolished, not even close, wiped away game one. Game one was not a game. It was a cutscene.
That was a deletion.
Yeah, and yet, at the end of the day, who won the set?
That was Vidrocker.
That was Vidrocker, who came through, learned from the mistakes.
I think lost less stocks in the last two games than he lost in the first one.
Yeah.
I think, just combined. I think those are both
so.
2-stock victories.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. So, what was the biggest adjustment that you saw Vidrocker make, and was it perhaps a case of ICeless maybe feeling himself just a little too much?
I think a lot of it really was the less aggression or less wild aggression out of Vidrocker, less jumping in on ice climbers and trying to force stuff to happen, but more sitting back, playing at a range where it felt like ICeless wanted to press buttons and then whiff punishing. A lot of whiff punishing. That was huge. Yeah,
I mean, that is the case. I mean, generally, when you're playing a grappler in any game, it feels like.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a Tompkin in Guilty Gear or Hugo in Third Show and Zangief in any other Street Fighter,
you don't jump in.
No.
You sit at this range that's uncomfortable because you got these big normals that they have to deal with.
The wrestler is meant to catch. As the base, that's why you do those squats. That's why you work the chest, because you want to catch the thing that's jumping in at you with a hammer or a sword or just the fist, whatever the case may be. You kind of have to let the game come to you, but in exchange for giving up that damage, you're also needing to have the opponent dictate the pace of play.
Yeah.
Vidrocker has become very good at making those quicker characters kind of make their own mistakes.
Yeah, it's so terrifying to have Incineroar move near you, because you know he has the burst range of the Alolan Whip, or the ability to cover such a high height so quickly.